Today I'm going to be evaluating the cognitive status and orientation of my client. First, I'm going to start by asking her a series of 4 questions, and each question is worth a point. So if she gets all 4 questions right, she'll receive a score of AO times 4. And for every question she misses, 1 point will be deducted. So if she misses 1 question, her score would be AO times 3, and so on. So can you tell me what your name is?
Jess.
And do you know where we are right now?
We are in the OT clinic.
Are you aware of what time it is?
Yeah, it's about 6 o'clock.
And can you tell me what brought you in today?
I was playing outside and I hit my head, so they told me I had a concussion.
Great. So Jess was able to answer all of those questions correctly, showing that she's well oriented, and she received a score of AO times 4. Now I'm going to be performing the SLUMS examination on Jess, and she's going to answer a series of questions that I ask her, and she'll receive a score at the end. So Jess, can you tell me what day of the week it is?
It is Tuesday.
And do you know the year?
2020.
Do you know what state we're in?
Pennsylvania.
So now I'm going to ask you a series of 5 objects. I'm going to ask you to remember those objects, and I'll ask you again what they are later. So the objects are apple, pen, tie, house, and car. So now I'm going to ask you a question, like a problem-solving question. You have $100 and you go to the store and buy a dozen apples for $3 and a tricycle for $20. Do you know how much you spent?
$23.
And do you know how much you have left?
77.
So now I'm going to ask you to please name as many animals as you can in 1 minute. If you could just let me pull up my stopwatch.
Okay.
And whenever you're ready, we can begin.
Cat, dog, bird, rabbit, hamster, pig, cow, sheep, chicken, giraffe, monkey, elephant, squirrel, chipmunk, and I don't know what else I can call.
That's okay. That's okay. So now I'm going to ask you, if you can, to recall the 5 objects that I previously asked you to remember.
Apple, pen, tie, house, car.
I'm now going to give you a series of numbers, and I would like you to give them to me backwards. For example, if I say 42, you would say 24.
Okay.
87.
78.
648.
846.
And lastly, 8,537.
7,358.
So this is a clock face, and I'm going to ask you to please put in the hour markers and the time at 10 minutes to 11 o'clock. So now if you could please place an X where you see the triangle. And if you could point to which of those 3 figures are the largest, please. Okay. So now I'm going to tell you a story, and please listen carefully, because afterwards I will ask you some questions about it. So Jill was a very successful stockbroker. She made a lot of money on the stock market. She then met Jack, a devastatingly handsome man. She married him and they had 3 children. They lived in Chicago. She then stopped work and stayed at home to bring up her children. When they were teenagers, she went back to work, and her and Jack lived happily ever after. So can you tell me what the female's name was?
Jill.
Do you know when she went back to work?
When her children were teenagers.
What work did she do?
She worked for the stock market
And what state did she live in?
in Illinois.
So now the assessment's over and I'm going to score Jess's test. The highest score you can get on this assessment is 30. So Jess scored a 29 out of 30 on this assessment, which would be putting her in the normal range, as the normal range is a 27 out of 30.